Hey everyone, welcome back to Edgeverse. If you're into gaming, sports, or just curious about the future of entertainment, you're in for a treat today. Then, individual warm-ups, aim training for FPS players, or mechanical drills for MOBAs. Sounds wild, right? That's the world of professional esports. And no, it's not just kids playing video games in their basements. Today, we're diving deep into what it really takes to be a digital athlete. We'll break down the physical and mental demands, the daily grind, strategic genius, and where this industry's headed. Stick around, because by the end, you'll see why esports is the real deal, a legit sport that's exploding in 2025. Let's start by busting the biggest myth out there. You might think esports pros just sit around mashing buttons all day, right? Wrong. These guys are athletes, digital athletes, with bodies and brains tuned like high-performance machines. In games like StarCraft or League of Legends, pros hit over 400 actions per minute. That's 6 precise keyboard presses and mouse clicks every second, all while making split-second decisions. It's not random, it's calculated strategy under fire. Their hands, wrists, and forearms get a workout that rivals a pianist or a surgeon, and they deal with injuries like carpal tunnel, so teams have physical therapists on speed dial. But it's not just fingers flying. During a match, their heart rates spike to 160 to 180 beats per minute, same as a marathon runner. Cortisol floods their system, stressing the body like any intense sport. That's why pros hit the gym for cardio and strength training to build endurance. Mentally, it's a beast. They juggle selective attention, working memory for tracking cooldowns, and cognitive flexibility to pivot strategies on a dime. Studies show their brains even adapt, thickening in areas for attention and visuospatial skills. Compare this to traditional sports. Esports training is straight out of a pro athlete's playbook. They do reaction drills with software like AimLab, just like a tennis player practicing serves. Teams review VODs, video replays, frame by frame, dissecting plays like a football coach in the film room. They live in houses or facilities to build chemistry, with psychologists helping them communicate under pressure. So, if you're wondering how these skills translate to real life, think about a Valorant pro flicking a headshot in under 200 milliseconds. That's superhuman hand-eye coordination, honed through thousands of hours. Now, let's pull back the curtain on a day in the life of these pros. It's a structured, 10 to 12-hour routine that'd make most jobs look easy. Picture waking up at 9 a.m. for team breakfast, then hitting the gym for cardio and wrist exercises. No skipping. It's mandatory to fight off that sedentary lifestyle. Then, individual warm-ups, aim training for FPS players or mechanical drills for MOBAs. Afternoons are all about scrims, practice matches against other teams. These aren't casual. They're intense, best of series where they test strategies and refine comms. Coaches watch every move, giving feedback mid-session. Evenings. That's VOD review time. Dissecting those scrims like detectives, spotting mistakes, and scouting opponents. Dinners planned by a nutritionist for brain fuel. No junk food crashes allowed. Some even stream late night for sponsors, pushing the day longer. Behind it all is a full support squad. Head coaches craft game plans. Analysts crunch data on meta trends. Psychologists build mental resilience. And trainers prevent injuries. Teams train in high-tech facilities. Think soundproof scrim rooms, gyms, and even content studios. Places like Team Liquid's campus are like mini sports complexes, all to squeeze out every edge. It's a far cry from solo queuing in your room. Huh? This setup turns raw talent into champions, but it demands total commitment. No wonder burnout's a real risk. Speaking of edges, let's talk strategy, the meta that's the beating heart of esports. The meta is like an ever-changing rulebook of top strategies, characters, and tactics. Pros don't just play the game. They master this meta and innovate beyond it. In games like Dota 2 or Valorant, it starts with picks and bans, building a team comp that's synergistic, like a dive squad for aggressive plays or a scaling one for late-game dominance. Then there's economy management. In Counter-Strike, deciding when to eco, save money for better gear, can swing a match. It's micro versus macro. Micro's your personal mechanics, like aiming or combos. Macro's the big picture. Map control, rotations, objectives. The best teams blend both seamlessly. But here's the kicker. The meta evolves constantly. Dev patches buff or nerf stuff. Players invent wild strategies, and regions clash with different styles. Pros adapt or die, learn new champs overnight, rework playbooks. It's an arms race of innovation. Take iconic plays. In Dota 2's 2012 International, Navi's the play turned a lost fight with a perfect counter stun, flipping defense to offense. Or XPK's backdoor in League, dodging death while nuking the enemy base with insane game sense. These aren't luck, they're peak strategy under pressure. Makes you appreciate the chess-like depth, right? But all that prep meets its ultimate test on the global stage. Major tournaments? They're pressure cookers. Arenas like the Bird's Nest in Beijing pack in tens of thousands, with pyros, chants, and massive screens. Online, millions watch live, flooding chats. Pros in soundproof booths feel the vibe. Heart-pounding scrutiny where one mistake goes viral. The psych pressure is brutal. Anxiety shakes hands. Expectations weigh heavy, and stamina drains over 12-hour days. Calm breakdowns happen. Fear quiets calls. Frustration sparks blame. Psychologists teach breathing and resets to stay sharp. Stories capture it. OG's 2018 Cinderella run in Dota, underdogs winning $11 million through grit. Or Faker's 2017 tears after a world's loss. The unkillable Demon King, breaking down, shows the raw emotion. Triumph or heartbreak, it's what makes esports legends. Fast forward to 2025. Esports is mainstream, baby. Viewership tops 650 million. Revenues hit $2.5 billion. Prize pools, $40 to $50 million for the international. Brands like Nike and Coke sponsor. ESPN airs events. Careers explode beyond playing. Casters hype broadcasts. GMs handle rosters. Streamers rake in subs. Even devs hire ex-pros for balance. The future? Olympic inclusions on the horizon, demoed at Asian Games. IOC's eyeing it for youth appeal. VR/AR could spawn immersive games. AI boosts analytics. Global expansion hits Asia, Latin America, with local leagues building rivalries. Challenges? Burnout, injuries, governance. But with unions and sustainability focus, it's maturing. So, wrapping this up, esports isn't a hobby. It's a demanding sport for digital athletes. From insane APM to meta mastery, global stages to billion-dollar growth, it's redefining competition. If this fired you up, hit that like button, subscribe for more deep dives, and drop a comment. What's your favorite esports moment? Or do you think it'll hit the Olympics? Let's chat. Thanks for watching. See you next time.